Alright, last one. Another author without an office page, which we had quite a lot today, but I did realize that canned bread was one of the ones that we have gotten quite often in Series 4. But yeah, sadly, no way for me to like double check. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could find a way to like double check it somehow, but I'm not gonna like go out of the way for every offer that doesn't have a link to see like, oh, maybe I can find it somewhere. But this is written by Metridium. Alright, and the name is Mr. November. Remember the 5th of November. I wonder, is this one of the Dr. One Entertainment misters, or is this one of the Gamers Against Weed misters? Because I feel like we have, if I recall correctly, wait, wasn't there one Dr. One Entertainment mister that we were still missing? Or do we have all of them? Well, here we go. Euclid. Special containment procedures. Conventional containment of SCP-31289 is not possible as it is not clear whether or not this phenomenon has a tangible source. However, suppression of SCP-3129 can be achieved through disruption of Stage 1 phenomenon. During state and local election cycles, television broadcasts are to be monitored for occurrence of occurrences of SCP-3129. Should a positive identification of SCP-3129 occur, MTF Tau 3 cable guys are to be dispatched to the area. MTF Tau 3 have been outfitted with a formerly civilian broadcasting engineers trained specifically in the disruption of SCP-3129 infected transmission. MTF Tau 3 are to infiltrate, interrupt, or otherwise prevent further occurrences of SCP-3129 until such a time as Stage 1 phenomena is in the area. Stage 2 or higher occurrences of SCP-3129 may require the widespread application of amnestics via local water utility. Okay, description. SCP-3129 is a cognitohazardous phenomenon with no known or apparent source. SCP-3129 phenomena manifest as television and radio commercials in areas holding local or state elections. These broadcasts can run for any length of time between a few weeks to several months. Television appearances of SCP-3129 have been limited to locally owned and operated stations. No abnormalities are apparent from the broadcaster's side. SCP-3129 phenomena invariably focus upon a human male aged somewhere between 40 and 50, hereafter designated -1. SCP-3129 transmissions can vary in presentation and length wildly but invariably remain on topic of -1's apparent election bid. Okay. No instances of SCP-3129 have been found outside of the continental United States or presenting in any non-English languages. This is considered Stage 1 phenomena. Stage 2 begins after 2 hours, 2 to 4 weeks of exposure to Stage 1 phenomena. Up to 8% of viewers will become fixated upon -1. Civilians more politically aligned with the ideas presented in SCP-3129's commercials are more susceptible to infection. SCP-3129 efforts have not shown any overall political bias. Class B amnestics are effective at treating Stage 2 infection. Stage 2 infection left untreated for over a month or progress to Stage 3 symptoms. Individuals under the influence of Stage 3 infection display fanatical devotion to SCP-3129. They argue with open hostility against opposing viewpoints and ideologies. This hits a little bit close to home, doesn't it? Stage 3 infected tend to seek out other infected in person by way of online messages, boards, and communities. It is not presently clear whether or not -1 actually exists. Foundation officials have been unable to make a positive visual identification of -1, nor have officials ever encountered it in public. Addendum 1. Interview -1 Ash. A Stage 3 infection of SCP-3129 occurred in Asheville, North Carolina during its 2013 election. Of its 89,000 residents, at least 7,000 were compromised. That's whoa. Quite a lot. Foundation officials along with MTF Tau 3 were deployed into the area with directions to suppress the spread of SCP-3129. Widespread amnestic dosing via Asheville's 3 water treatment plants was successful in preventing SCP-3129 infection from continued growth. However, interaction with Stage 3 infected individuals prompted an official debrief for MTF Tower 3 agents Mayfield and Haas. Mechanic, I just now realized something. I'm so slow today. Remember in the SCP where people who get distressed injure themselves? Well, they don't injure themselves, but get injured. Yeah, the one who causes distress to them, and when at the end, when they said like, oh, the parents didn't show any emotions, that the fact that the daughter was killed, it's because if they get distressed, then other people will get also injured, meaning they will die. I just now realized that. So as a parent, you just have to be emotionless, because if you accidentally get distressed by something and someone gets injured by that, you're the next target of being killed. I just now realized that. Yeah, no, that's crazy. MTF Tower 3 agents Roy Mayfield and Ken Haas, Dr. April Oliveira, project lead. The following debrief has been included for insight into extreme behavior of SCP-3129 Stage 3 infection. Begin log. Please repeat once more what you encountered in Asheville. Okay, wait a minute, let me, Okay, so the operation was a success. Asheville was nice and ignorant again. Mayfield and I were doing a routine normalcy check. Tower 3 had split into 5 groups of 2. Each team was to canvass the downtown metropolitan area just to be sure. So we're walking around for a while, and suddenly Mayfield stops dead in his tracks. Grabs my shoulders and tells me to look. He's pointing inside some sort of convention center. I go over to and look, and there's 30 or 40 civilians inside. This struck you as odd. At 3 AM in the morning? Yeah, it did. Fair enough. Continue. So Mayfield and I go in. Door wasn't locked or anything. Again, 3 AM. So we go in, and like I said, there were round about 30 to 40 people in there. And they're all deathly silent. I never witnessed such an uncomfortably quiet group of people in my life. I almost called it then and there. I thought we had something in the wild here. And they're all facing the same direction, toward the stage at the far end of the building. Lit like there was something up there, with spotlights and whatnot. But there wasn't anyone up there. It was completely empty. What are you saying? So if I'm getting this right, Dash 1 doesn't exist. No, Dash 1 is the... Is this. This is Dash 1. Remember, like, the SCP itself is a phenomena that possesses a body, or a politician's body. This one's Dash 1 right here. So Mayfield and I go in. Door wasn't locked or anything. Again, 3 AM, so we go in, like I said, there were around about 34. What was I was like, lit like there was something with spotlights and whatnot. I keep losing myself. But there wasn't anyone up there. It was completely empty. It looked like they were all hypnotized or something, maybe by the pulpit. But then everyone explodes. From quiet as the dead to the loudest damn thing in the universe. They're waving their hands, jumping up and down, losing their shit all over the place, and they're screaming at the empty stage. Go on. Then they go quiet again. Yeah, every single one of them. Quiet as humanly possible. For 45 seconds, maybe a minute, and then they all go apeshit again. This goes on for over an hour, back and forth. They get real quiet. Watching the stage like it was the most important thing in the world, and they erupt like Oprah just walked in. Mayfield and I never got so much as a glimpse of what the hell they were looking at or hearing. We checked after the thing dispersed. Everyone filed out of the room like zombies, but Haas and I hung back. Went up to the stage and looked around. Checked around and behind it. Nothing, just a brick wall. If they were using smoke and mirrors, I have no earthly idea of where they kept them. Did you attempt to interact with any of the individuals in the crowd? No, we had no reason to believe they might be hostile to SCP-3129. And you both are absolutely sure you saw nothing on the stage? Damn thing. I don't know what I was talking to them, but we couldn't hear it. Yeah, I mean, it does say that. Yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, it does say here. But I think it's because, as they say here, they don't see them. I believe that's, it does say somewhere around here that like, yeah. Because he is a, I don't know what was talking to them, but we couldn't hear it. So -1 must, it probably exists, but they cannot see -1 or hear -1. End log. Closing statement. Examination of the building in question revealed no capability to hold such an event. Safe building is currently the offices of a now defunct financial institution, and its internal layout is inconsistent with the description of Agent Haas and Mayfield. Speed. Such building is currently the office of the new defunct financial institution, and its internal layout is inconsistent with the description of Agent Haas and Mayfield. Investigation of this incident is ongoing. Agent Haas and Mayfield are currently on medical leave pending psych evaluation. Addendum 2, Experiment 34 Gamma Operation Captain Midnight. Following the incident in Asheville, and with the evaluation of Mayfield and Haas showing no signs of compromise, it was decided that further study of Stage 3 phenomenon was required. Investigation occurred during the 2015 election cycle. This project took place as a joint operation between Foundation researchers and MTF Tau 3. It was determined that study it was determined that study of Stage 3 infected could only be performed with a controlled outbreak of SCP-3129. Temporary Site 34 Gamma was created to allow for this. Temporary Site 34 Gamma was a Foundation-controlled and contained small town in Washington State found to be target of SCP-3129. This operation was performed under the pretense of government quarantine. The project met almost immediate opposition from what is assumed to be -1 and was forced to conclude prematurely. The following information is considered incomplete. More inauspicious study of SCP-3129 is being planned. Open attachment. Damn, add a lot more. Experiment 3129/34 Gamma. Duration 9th, 12th, 15th to the 11th, 14th, 15th. Okay, so I assume it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Never mind. I'm good. All good. Location Bremerton, Washington. Temporary Site 34 Gamma. Project lead Dr. April Oliveira. Audio transcript. The following is an audio log of Stage 3 infected civilian conversing with an as of yet unknown entity presumed but not confirmed to be -1. This recording was achieved through selective electronic surveillance of civilian residents. Subject is an African American female, aged late 20s. Yeah, yes, I see you. Yes, I hear you. I won't look away. I won't close my eyes. I will. My TV is on. I'll keep it on. I will. Yes, I see you. Yeah, I can hear you. I'll keep watching. I'll keep it on. I will. This must be like how it must feel like to look at like listening to a schizophrenic. You know what I mean? If they're like alone in the room and just talking like this, like, yeah, I see you. Yeah, I'll have the TV on. I'll watch. I will. I won't turn it off. I'll stay here. I will. Yes, I saw them. It's on now. Similar recordings were made in the homes of 5 other individuals. In each of the encounters, the subject spoke with the unseen entity for a period of up to 45 seconds, referring to the television sets several times each. During this time, the television displays static to all outside observers. The subject spends the duration of the encounter standing in front of the television, similarly to how a soldier might stand at attention. At the end of each encounter, the television returns to previous broadcast and the subject returns to their seat. All 6 events occurred within 8 minutes of a stage 1 transmission occurring on the subject's television. Observation of the aberrant behavior in stage 3 infected personnel. Observation made by Dr. Oliveira during discrete surveillance of stage 3 infected civilians. Stage... I can get rid of this now. Boom. Stage 3 infected individuals periodically display an almost hive mind-like behavior. To wit, these individuals will frequently and without warning gather around televisions and computer screens for periods of up to 40 minutes. Any gesticulation or exclamations made by all members of the group in perfect unison. There is no communication made between members of the group to coordinate this or anything else whatsoever. Following these events, the individuals will return to whatever they had been doing before without so much a word inquiring as to what had just occurred. As for what they were watching, I could not tell. As far as I was able to see, the screens were either static or displaying what could be called a blue screen error. Following the event, televisions returned to erstwhile programming while computers rebooted without further error. With a little eavesdropping, I have gathered a basic impression of the cult of personality surrounding the 3129 entity. In between the aforementioned hive mind events, behavior of the stage 3 infected seems to be relatively mundane. Life goes on, I guess you could say, except when the topic of the 3129 entity arises. It appears to be a mimetic trigger of some sort for persons under 3129's influence. I have personally witnessed groups as large as 32 individuals form as a result of one mention of the entity's pseudonym. The pseudonym is heard, repeated, heard again, and repeated again, causing more and more individuals to crowd around, voicing their support of the entity. These groups can take hours to disperse. Furthermore, the infected aren't even communicating with each other. They talk over one another, almost as if competing for who can appear the most fanatical. As you might imagine, it can get quite loud. Yeah, we can imagine that. Observation of stage 3 gathering events. Over the course of the experiments in Bremerton, the 3 events matching the description of what agents Haas and Mayfield encountered in Asheville were observed. Stage 3 is something else. It must look like a bunch of crazy people, honestly. Which, again, not that far off in certain areas. Over the course of the experiment, date 9/30th 2015. Witness Connor Beach, MTF Tower 3. Sorry. On the 30th of September, around about 21 o'clock, I don't want to say 2100 hours. That for me is like really annoying to say. I don't know why. I witnessed a large number of civilians entering a private dining establishment. After watching this for a moment, I realized that there was no way that many people could fit inside of a Chinese carryout. I waited for a little while longer so as to not to disturb what was then suspected to be a group of stage 3, then brought up to the rear of the line. As I had assumed, the inside of the restaurant had expanded to accommodate the crowd. Furthermore, there were no tables, no front counter, no observable kitchen, just an empty room with a stage. The event went down, same as what Ken and Rory saw, then dispersed without incident. Date 10th 2015. Jeannie Green, MTF Tower 3. I was in a gas station purchasing fuel for the company car when all of a sudden a flood of civilians begins filling in. I mean, a ridiculous amount of people for this little mom and pop shop on the edge of town. I watched them totally bewildered for a while until I realized the building was getting bigger around me. That the Haas and Mayfield meant was like the way that like the building had like a lot more distance, right? And like, I mean, they said like, oh yeah, the way that the building was described by them was not like the way it was the next day. Slowly but surely, the walls were expanding outwards, and every time I turned my back to something, it disappeared. Just vanished. The coolers, the food racks, the front counter, the displays. One at a time until the display was just 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor. Then I heard something that made me turn and toward the back of the store, not sure what it was. None of the civilians were saying a damn thing. They were all as quiet as death. I'm not sure I heard anything, but I'm not even sure I heard anything, but sure enough, I turned around and there's a stage. I was stuck in that gas station for an hour until everyone filed out and I was able to reach the door. When leaving and going back in, it was completely back to normal. Damn this thing. Date 11/12/2015. Witness Dr. April Oliveira, Project Lead Experiment 34 Gamma / SCP 3129. I ingratiated myself. Ingratiated? Is that how you say it?
Ingratiated. Ingratiated.
Ingratiated, okay. I ingratiated myself with the locals over the course of around 45 days. It was during this time that I was able to make a number of discrete observations of their behavior in regard to 3129. It was also during this time that I was unfortunately involved in a bit of a situation. I had spent... I can actually get rid of this stuff now, right? Yeah. There we go. Sorry. I had spent most of the time around among a group of students, as Seattle is a mere 45-minute ferry ride from here and living expenses are relatively cheap. This group had established themselves here as a means to get by while they worked on getting their degrees. I admit I grew fond of them, perhaps a little too much, so seeing as they were compromised civilians in the midst of a memetic infection that I was personally overseeing the study of. Yes, it was a conflict of interest, I admit that. I let my empathy for the struggle get the better of me. However, let me be clear that I never lost sight of why I was there in the first place. My goal was first and foremost was always to study 3129. That being said, I was invited by one of the students I had been observing to an event, a party, I think he said it was. Against my better judgment, I acquiesced and accompanied him and 3 other individuals to a club. Except when we arrived, there wasn't so much a party as a rally. There must have been hundreds upon hundreds in that room. As you may have guessed, it was much bigger on the inside. It extended well past the observable dimensions of the building and somehow, I suppose, moved the building beyond and beside it out of the way. It wasn't loud like one of the cult of personality events I had witnessed before. Rather, it was deathly quiet. They were all watching the back of the room. There was a stage and a pulpit there, in line with the... Is pulpit what I think it is? Yeah, like one of those stands. Yeah, okay, that's what I was looking for. Hold on. Let me write that down. There we go. Good. In line with what had been observed in Tower 3, North Carolina. I asked the students I was accompanying about it, but nobody acknowledged me. Nobody in my room did, in fact. No matter how many people I jostled or shoved, I couldn't reach the door due to the number of people behind me. Believe me, I tried my damnedest to get out of there, but everyone was basically frozen in place, completely unmovable and unassailable, and far too numerous to squeeze through. I gave up when I noticed the walls were still moving outward to accommodate more. So I was stuck there in the middle of what must have been 1,000 people, all silent, all staring at the far end of the room, none of them acknowledging the screaming and crying woman in the center, desperately kicking and shoving those around her. Ugh, God, that's terrifying. Once I had tired myself out and I was reduced to whimpering, I heard something. It was faint, as far off in distance, but I heard it, and it was coming from the stage. Then all of a sudden, the most ungodly rapture happened all around me. Everyone who had been previously silent was now as loud as it could possibly be. I covered my ears and screamed back at them. And everyone was silent again, and I heard a voice once more. But not so much heard it as I thought I heard it, I guess you could say. I tried to locate the source of what I thought I had heard until the crowd exploded once again. I was stymied. This went on for a long time. Hours upon hours, I think. I was fairly certain I had located the source of the voice by the time the crowd had begun to file out. A male friend saw the state I was in, however, and insisted on taking me home. I insisted myself that I be allowed to look around, but the more I resisted, the more insistent he became. I think he wanted me to leave. I returned to base of operations as soon as I could to report the incident. Sorry. I believe this event has been orchestrated by. SCP-3129. If it wasn't already aware of who we are and what we're doing, it is now. The voice I heard was my own. Oh. I told it everything. I recommend immediate termination of 34 Gamma. So they heard a voice that was their own talking to people. Interesting. Following this event, Dr. Oliveira was promptly relieved of duty and was allowed to return to a resident at Site 81. Incident 34 Gamma. Following 63 days of SB-3129 observation, resistance from Dash 1 and Stage 3 infected civilians required a cessation of further operation. The following is a statement given by MTF Tau 3 Captain Erwin Bose, or Boss, regarding the event of 11th 15th, 1415 and the early completion of experiment 34 Gamma. Okay, so here's what went down. We started the night of alright, all quiet on the western front, as they say. Myself and the rest of Tau 3 were doing routine rounds of the city. The city just looking around. We're all driving unmarked civilian cars. How they knew who we were is beyond me, honestly, but sure enough they did. Each and every one of us. The series turned on us almost in unison. All over the city happened so quickly. I can't possibly imagine how it was organized, but it was all of a sudden. All of a sudden, the entire city of Bremerton, Washington turned on us and tried to tear us limb from limb. Like some sort of invasion of the body snatchers sort of deal. It was a damn miracle we didn't lose anyone. They were ramming their cars into ours, trying to break the windows and I assume drag us out. I had to authorize use of the non-deadly force for the guys on foot. Poor sops. Thank God we got word to headquarters so they could hit the lights. For whatever reason, the blackout stopped them dead. It was then and there that we found out. Everyone, not just Tau 3, the project was over. Addendum 3, cataloged recording. The following is an instance of Stage 1 phenomenon recorded from the home of during the operation in Washington State. Note that the anomalous effect of SCP-3129 do not manifest in analog or digital recordings. Begin recording. Recording begins with a daytime shot of Dash 1 standing outside. It has 1 foot elevated into a large rock positioned to its right. Hi, I'm Norman Mann, and I'm running for governor of the state of Indiana. Dash 1 approaches the camera and gestures with his right hand while keeping his left in his trouser pocket. My opponents would like you to believe that I'm not a legitimate candidate for your governor. I'd like you to take a moment here to convince you otherwise. The recording transitions to Dash 1 being observed from afar. Dash 1 is walking through a suburban neighborhood and is greeted by bystanders. Bystanders do not appear to look directly at Dash 1 or otherwise focus their attention on what they are doing. Together, I believe we can do so much more than individually. As your governor, with your help, I'll be able to do anything. Dash 1 smiles and waves back to the bystanders. I believe in community, first and foremost. I have some words to say. Dash 1 continues down the street. A male and female bystander are kneeling beside a child. Upon noticing Dash 1, they stand and begin waving. The child begins waving as well, in perfect synchronicity with the adults. Community, family, and togetherness. Scene transition. It's now nighttime. The camera is trained on the outside of the house. 3 individuals can be seen dressed in black, attempting to break into the home by using a crowbar to pry open a window. The shot changes to a closer view while the 3 individuals gain entry. There are people out there that want to destroy our community. The 3 individuals successfully open the window, begin climbing through. A vote for me is a vote for the safer community. I will not be soft on the agents of fear that would seek to separate us. Scene transition. Dash 1 is walking through the previous neighborhood once again. Bystanders stand and greet it as it walks by. Bystanders continue to greet -1 long after it passes them by. As your governor, I know it's going to be all eyes on me, but that's the way I like it. The more of you I have watching me, the better. That's why the numbers of people have kept increasing. I'll never back down from public scrutiny. In transition to images of common electronic technology such as televisions, computers, and the like, as well as people in groups and people giving speeches. In this day and age, there's so many voices out there trying to lead the voters astray. My voice is a voice you can trust. Listen to my voice. Scene transitions back to -1 speaking directly to the camera. It's the same shot that began the recording, but focused closer on -1. Only its top half is visible. With your help, I can be a force of change in this great state of Indiana. Without it, I can't do so much as lift a pebble. Please, lend me your support. Shot transitions to one further away and turned to -1's right. -1 turns to regard the camera directly once again. Make the right choice. Together, we can be part of something bigger, something greater. Together, we can do anything. Together, nothing will stop us. Together, not alone. Going ends with a still of -1 smiling at the bottom of the screen, and note reads paid for by the committee to elect Norman Mann. End recording. I just had a flashback to a taste of something I wanted to eat, but I don't remember what it was. Closing statement. Following the completion of the operation in Washington, widespread blackouts were orchestrated to cease transmission of SB 3129. Widespread amnestic dosing was successful in reversing all infection. Dr. Oliveira has been disqualified from further field work. What I wanted to say, it's kind of funny how this is not even like anything original that like a politician would say. It's like, I need your help. With you, I can do this. I believe in community. I believe in. It's like the same bullshit most like politicians would spout, and the fact that this is the one, like this is the only reason. It is funny because at the end, you know, it is an anomalous effect. So. It's all beyond your control, but the idea that like all these people are losing their absolute goddamn mind over this politician, even though he's just saying the regular politician stuff of like if you help me, I can make this community better. If you help me, I can make Indiana a state to be proud of. Like it's like, yeah, we heard that stuff over and over again before. It's the Bernie Sanders, or is it Bernie Sanders? Me, like, is that the guy who's like? I once again ask you for your help. I will absolutely not vote for -1, no. Because it's not even like a good speech. It's not even like a... It's nothing new. It's nothing like, whoa. He really caught me with that one. That's what makes it so much more ironic for me, that like all like thousands of people listen to him and like screaming their lungs off every time he says something. I'm like, it's not even that like impressive what he's saying, but again, that's the anomalous effect adds to the whole like part of it, right?